Good evening, and welcome to this week's episode of London by Gaslight, a late Victorian age vampire the Masquerade chronicle set in 1892. Awakening for the night in the city of London this week are Alistair, from the clan of the Moon, portrayed by Tina. Please do a rouse check to waken from your torpor slumber. Excellent. Eveline, the daughter of There's always something every fucking week. Always fucking something. Hey, fast car. Eveline, the daughter of Cacophony, portrayed by Miss Hart. Please do a rouse check to waken from your torpor state. Gain a hunger. That's what you get when I fuck up your line. Aldrich, of the Clan of Kings, portrayed by Bully from Tablegoth. Please do a rouse check to waken from your torpor state. Wonderful. Thurston, of the Nosferatu, portrayed by Nitro Typat. Please do a rouse check to waken from your torpor state. Gain a hunger. Sir Drake Burton, from the Clan of the Beast, portrayed by Mark from Boulette Club. Please do a rouse check to waken from your torpor slumber. I've got to stop saying that you're from Boulette Club at this point, really, haven't I? But you are. Yeah. Gain a hunger. Inspector Grey, from the Clan of the Hunt, portrayed by Noscalian from Table of Horrors. Please do a rouse check to waken from your torpor state. Wonderful. Thurston arises from his torpor state in the cellar of the house in Whitechapel, in front of the hidden painting. Next to his lifeless body rests a box inside of which he has stored Clara's heart. As he stirs to one life, Eveline also arises wordlessly. She reads a piece of paper, keeping the contents of it to herself, folds it neatly, and leaves for the night without saying a single word to Thurston. She steps up to the seemingly new carpeted staircase from the cellar into the house's ground floor. The house has changed significantly since the last time the entire coterie were there. Doors are now in place all along the house, and the debris has cleared, and the once broken staircase that leads up to the second floor is creeping slowly upwards and completing itself.
Awaken, Thurston.
Heard that.
No, you're out of the house now, and he's just talking to Thurston.
Okay.
He,
Okay.
she, it. It's
It.
very hard to assign gender roles
They.
to a demon.
Yes, talking house?
Your sacrifice was accepted.
I'm sorry, am I what?
For every sacrifice in my name, I grow in strength and power.
Can I look inside the box and see if the heart's still there?
Yep, still there.
Is it still?
That one cares for you. It is a weakness you can exploit.
That's true. But again, what sacrifice did I make? I don't remember making one.
Go forth into the night.
You know, it really helps when you do the whole question answer thing, when you actually answer the questions that are asked.
You exaggerate.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go now. Is that okay? Can I leave?
Yes.
Alright, thanks.
Kind of hate you and love you at the same time for that. Sir Drake has just finished meeting with his contact, who passed to him a note on folded paper. Written upon the paper is the name Admiral Kusanagi. The title is self-imposed. Sir Drake has left his haven, and having taken a carriage into the city, is making his way to Elysium in the West End to meet with his coterie. As he exits the carriage that drops him off just outside Leicester Square, he walks towards the Elysium. He can hear the sounds of a woman struggling and trying to scream for help. He rushes forward and sees feet being dragged into a nearby building.
suppose, as a sir, I best pursue the damsel in distress. I'll draw pistol in my offhand and follow.
Okay. Sir Drake runs around the corner, entering into the house. The house is wrecked. Oh, I should probably change the fucking scene. There we go. The house is wrecked and seems itself neglected. The hallway Drake stands in has exposed wallboards. The floor is missing various planks and gaping holes endanger basic navigation. Several rooms lie ahead of him through the hallway. A door rests closed in front of him and is either for a closet or a cellar. Already he can hear the muffled screams of a woman in distress.
Through the cellar door, yeah?
2 wits and awareness for me, please.
Oh, it's just wits. Mind.
Would you prefer wits? Would you prefer intelligence and investigation?
Yeah. We can
Do intelligence and investigation. We'll pretend I didn't see wits and awareness.
Cool.
Wonderful. You can tell, as you listen out for the screams, that the woman has been taken downstairs into the cellar.
Yeah. I'm not going to be quiet about this at all. Shock and awe just crash through the cellar door and go for whoever looks threatening.
The stairs creak and crack as Sir Drake rushes forth, sword drawn, making his way into the cellar to see what horrors have befallen the woman in distress. He reaches the stair's end, finding himself in a chamber dedicated to killing. Several tables are lined against the wall. Each one is stained with blood, some fresh, others dried and browned with age. A large chair with what Sir Drake could only describe as stirrups are at the end of the legs. Each stirrup has locks upon it, and the main body of the chair rests back at a 45-degree angle. Why anyone would find such a chair comfortable, Sir Drake knows not, especially as it seems there are bloodstains on the seat, and some other unknown liquids embedded into it. Against the wall is a pair of chairs lined with restraints, facing straight at the perplexing stirruped chair. Sat upon one is the woman, blindfolded, with blood dribbling from her nose, lip, and one of her ears. I'll give you a hint.
Right.
This is an investigation scene.
All right. I'll ask her first. Anyone else in the room?
She just groans at you. Barely. Weakly.
I'll step forward and just peel the... You said she was blindfolded, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll take the blindfold off.
You can see her eyes seem very glossy, glassed over, barely staying conscious, skimming in and out of consciousness.
I'm looking around. I'm looking for signs of a second party.
Intelligence investigation, please.
Fuck it. This is risky with this many dice.
And you can't re-roll either.
No.
Would you like success at cost?
Yeah.
Okay. Sir Drake eyes around the room. As he does so, the beast inside of him screams for attention. He wants to inflict pain, hurt, and bring justice to this poor young woman. He's able to restrain the beast inside of him as he knows frenzying here would be an extremely poor choice. He burns through his own resolve, and you take 1 superficial willpower damage. You find the room devoid of anyone else but yourself and the kidnapped woman.
All right. Check around for, other than the chairs that were already obvious. What else is there? Looking around for something else that would make it apparent to me what the room's being used for.
How is your intelligence and investigation? Is that better than your wits and awareness?
Yes.
Do that then, please. Get a feeling that this is going to be a lot of, would you like this at cost? Would you like this at cost?
Yeah, probably.
I'll let you have
My
it.
hunger's at 4, so.
That's useful to know, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Drake looks around, running his eyes and his hands over the main chair with the
Draven
stirrups
gave him
on
a
it.
reroll.
Oh, he's fine. He succeeded anyway. You can stack that one up. You're going to need it.
Cool. Yeah, probably.
By the chair on the floor, you find a blunted, large butcher's knife.
Not even keen. I'll go back over to the. Oh no, shit. If I gave her the tiniest bit of my blood to perk her up.
Yes.
What sort of? Yeah. What am I looking at there, damage wise?
Doing a rouse check.
Yeah. Oh. I try and slap some sense into a using more mundane means first, and then if it fails, so I'm gonna head over there to her, back over to her. How long have you been here?
Are you slapping her?
I've kind of just got my hand under her chin, and I'm like, "Look at me. Look at me. How long have you been here?"
She drools onto your hand.
Ah, useless. Where's Aldrich when you need him? She's still bound, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll unbind her. Last thing I want is to walk out making it look like I bloody did it.
There's still things to find in this scene as well.
Yeah. Well, I want to make her unbind her and at least make her a bit more comfortable. She's not bound now. She can just sit. What else is in the room?
Various chairs, tables, that kind of malarkey. It's all very Silence of the Lambs. Sorry, the quietening of sheep.
What's on the tables?
Do intelligence investigation for me, please. Do you want to use Traven's reroll?
Yeah.
Would you like success at cost?
Yeah. It's going to be a long night.
Sir Drake searches around the room, paying particular attention to each and every single table. As he does so, he's able to piece together various things from the clues there. His blood boils over, his beast screaming once more. As he does so, he no longer has the willpower to resist it. He's looking over at the dazed, confused woman, and the urge to feed rises inside of him. He's able to keep it down, but at the cost of his own vitae. Increase your hunger by 1.
It's frenzy. I'm at 5.
Yep, that's fine for now. But
Okay.
you also find various jewellery, blood-stained brooches with small precious stones, copper bands and the like, and among it a gold engagement ring. Inscribed inside is the name Shelley.
Anything that looks like it's got sort of identifying markings, I guess. Shelley, for example, I'm going to take with. I am going to swiftly leave before I eat her.
Oh, you've got one more thing to find.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I didn't
I'll
just
whip
give you
round
number
the-
5 for no reason.
Yeah, I'll whip round the room and what else is left that I haven't gone over yet.
Do for me. Intelligence and investigation.
All right.
Would you like success at cost?
Yeah.
You search around the room once more. Old PPR's giving you a reroll. He's gonna need it.
Appreciate that, Jody. Whew.
Would you
Well, I
like
hope.
success at cost?
Oh, you're kidding. Yeah.
Sir Drake searches around the room, finding in a corner a diary of sorts. The first page is written in some kind of strange, brown, seemingly crusty substance. As Drake flicks through the pages, the writing becomes more and more unstable. The substance becomes more and more red with each page read, until Drake realizes this is definitely blood scrawled onto each entry. The entries themselves simply say things like kill, death to whores, tear, destroy, and so on. He closes the diary and looks over at the woman, helpless. Unable to resist her any more, the beast inside of him takes over, and he strides over, taking the woman in his grasp and sinking his 4 fangs deep into her flesh, feeding upon her until she is drained and dry. You may slake 3 hunger, and you take 2 humanity stains.
Oh, lovely. All right. Drop her back into the chair. Dash out up onto the street again and shout into the air. Best sort of common a Cockney accent Drake can manage. Murder! There's been a murder! And kind of turn. You said there were doors on this outside on the street were there doors. I want to make it obvious that when the peelers turn up, it's that building. So
Yeah. Dogs begin to bark, people seem to shout and scream, and suddenly you hear the whistles of policemen in the distance,
And I am
running closer
bolting
and
for Elysium.
closer.
Yeah. As soon as I hear them coming, I'm bolting for Elysium.
No problem. It was very well done, I have to say. Well done.
Oof.
Meanwhile, outside the West End Aldrich brothel acquired, Eveline and Aldrich have responded to a rather urgent telegram they received about someone moving in on the building they recently acquired. As they approach the holding... As they approach the building, they can already see the usual man who runs the day-to-day business outside, flailing his arms wildly around at a stranger, smartly dressed in a long felt coat, wearing a bowler hat in his leather-gloved hands. He carries a large, expensive-looking bag. Their breath can be seen wisping into the air as the pair approach.
Arbor?
The manager of the building and the person he's talking to.
Oh, okay. Okay. As usual, my arm is in Aldrich's as we approach.
Yeah, I assume we would have met up before showing up together in this.
Okay.
This is the one I put her in charge of, right?
Mhm.
I'll ask her before we would you like me to take point on this, or would you like to handle this business?
My hand, a handling.
Very well. I was hoping you would say that. And I will escort her and let her take the lead.
The business manager notices Eveline and Aldrich approach. They can hear him say, "You can talk with the owners now," as he leaves, the man in the street, and approaches the pair. They can see he is red in the face, likely from shouting and pent-up rage, but still addresses his bosses with a respectful tone. "Madam Eveline, Monsieur Aldrich, this gentleman says he came here to collect tithes. When I refused, he became right uppity, he did." I've gone into the accent, I'm sorry. "Started going on about his landlord rights and this and that. He ain't taking no for an answer. He's already sent some goons earlier in the week to collect. I thought it was us all like, so I sent you both that telegram. Tonight, though, he's come round himself. He seems to have some authority. Mayhaps you could sort this mess out. He's trying to evict us, you see."
Something that we should discuss on the street. Get us a nice private room. Make it a nice one.
I don't think he's the type to go into such an establishment as ours.
Well, if he owns the establishment, he'll have to go into it and speak to us.
Oh, it don't work quite like that here in London, you see, madam. He owns the land. We rent out the land, you see. It's one of those few times that someone else can actually own the land. You see, that's usually it's a fucking queen, isn't it? Fuck. Of course it's a queen. It's the fucking Victorian age, Shiv. See, the queen owns all the land.
It's called the Victorian Age.
Yeah, and the worst bit is I thought, isn't it King George II in charge at this point? That's nowhere near yet. So it's a
You
bit
mean
of a
to
right-
explain to us, a
Georgian
couple
era.
of people who know very much all the laws of London, how things work? How dare you? But Lady Eveline, you can, of course, use my carriage if you like somewhere off the street, a little more private if he's going to make a fuss about it.
Fine. But yes, we need somewhere more private. I am not going to discuss these matters on the street.
The carriage is plenty roomy, and I'll escort him to my carriage.
You need to do willpower, please. Aldrich attempts to approach the stranger. As he does so, though, he finds himself unable to walk any further towards him. The stranger notices this. It's as if they are exactly the same magnets, unable to go near each other.
Go on, and I will, not approaching, but stepping out of the way and gesturing towards the carriage, trying to hide the fact that something is very wrong.
Okay. Madam Eveline?
Is he getting in the carriage?
He is approaching the carriage.
Okay. Then I will get in the carriage first.
Willpower, please.
If it makes a difference, I was going to say with Aldrich's help to step.
Nope. Excellent.
Willpower.
The man enters into the carriage. Eveline musters enough willpower within herself to approach the man and gives Aldrich a strange look on the street. as she follows him in.
I will let you handle this. I will wait outside if that is okay.
Yes, but stay close by.
I will be right outside, my lady. And I will quickly just close the door, probably a little more forcefully than I meant to, and finally take a moment to sort of be like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, I'm assuming, am I okay standing outside of the carriage?
Just about.
Okay. Try to stay within earshot.
Yeah, I'll let you do that. That seems fair. Good evening, madam. I take it that you and your male companion are the owners of the establishment here known as the Steam Room?
And what business brings you to us today?
Excellent. I represent St. Martin. We are one of the subsidiaries of St. Paul's. Your establishment here is to pay its dues. You see, this land here is on St. Paul's land, and as with other establishments on church land, you are due to pay tithes of £10. And for reference, £10 is about £820 in modern times, which is the equivalent of a month's wage.
Tell me more about this church of yours. Choir?
You are unfamiliar with St. Paul's Cathedral?
It's been a while since I've been in.
You see that massive building over there that looms over the entire city? The dome-shaped one? Possibly one of the largest
Yes.
structures in the city?
Do you have a choir inside of it?
We have several. That is St. Paul's Cathedral.
Think of your choir. Do you enjoy songs of the gospel?
I enjoy our suitors paying their tithes.
Somewhere with this, I'd be able to get you even more.
We are not greedy. That is, of course, one of the deadly sins. We simply want what is due.
Those tithes are not greedy, huh? Tell me, what is your favorite gospel? I don't know any either, so just make it up.
Is Mark a gospel? I love how we're all blank apart from one person. Okay, the Gospel of Mark.
Give dual willpower.
Song, With Me He Walked.
I'm not here to discuss the finer points of the scriptures with you. I'm merely here to collect your tithing.
Sampled it for you. And I start to sing it and cast awe.
Okay. I'm going to burn a willpower, and you fail.
I didn't have time to think.
Yeah, you're dealing with true faith now, buddy boy.
I was wondering, with my example there, whether I could join your choir and perhaps exchange for some of the tithing.
Charisma and persuasion, please. Well, we would not normally allow one such as you within the church. If you dress perhaps a little more conservatively, we would be willing for you to sing. However, that would not affect your tithing.
Just me? Dressed in the fashions? Hey, do you take me for?
I can see your ankles, young lady. That is absolutely unacceptable.
See that very many of the women of very high stature in this town are dressed similar.
And those women tend to dress far more conservatively every Sunday when they attend church.
You doubt that I would?
Yes.
Some gall about you.
I represent St. Paul's. Of course, we accept only the best. And I'm afraid, the way you're dressed now is far too provocative for our congregation.
Well, in that case, we'll see you on Sunday in best, most modest dress with the tithing.
I find this acceptable for now. Good luck getting in that fucking church, mate.
It's a Sunday during the day. I'm not going.
Good. Well then, I believe our business is concluded.
To you, I believe I have some business in here with my companion.
Why am I not surprised?
Not that kind of business. This is a carriage.
Yes, that's what they all say. Good evening, madam. He gets up and leaves the carriage.
Does he pass me again, or am I still not able to be anywhere near him?
You are unable to be anywhere near him.
I will gracefully avoid him as he goes. Trying to get a good look at him as he goes, though, from a distance I'm comfortable with, which I believe is quite distant.
As he exits, he stops and turns his head to you and gives you a tip of his bowler hat, a little smile, and walks slowly off down the street.
He is exited, turned to Eveline. From what I can gather, things did not go so well. That man is kindred, I assume?
No, I don't believe
Did something to me immediately upon meeting him. I would have done my usual, but I don't know. There's something very disturbing about that individual.
I very much agree. I'm very repulsed by him.
I would like to know what he is and what that was first, and then proceed from there. For now, we can afford to pay the tithe to buy some time until we understand our enemy better.
So I bought us a little bit of time until Sunday, in which they're expecting me to show service in modest grace.
Oh? We have a night service?
No, it's not going to happen.
Well, we should put some people on this. Perhaps ask Delicium. I'm sure there's some kindred who calls the church their domain. Although I know there's people in the church we're supposed to be careful of as well.
I don't think
I'm not sure.
that type of church would be someone's domain.
I frankly do not know. I assume anywhere there is a place of power, there is a kindred somewhere.
I think perhaps we find someone trustworthy from our establishment to go in my stead.
For now. We have until Sunday, and if nothing from then, I say we pay our tithe this month, and then, like I said, bide our time. We can afford it. At least I can.
If you think we can afford it, then I agree with this plan of action.
Very well.
Over in Elysium, a large crowd fills Elysium this night. The usual magician that the Coterie know as the mesmerizing Matthias performs the usual uninterested crowd, apart from the one very willing woman lavishing him with attention. Over the crowd stands the sheriff of the city, bedecked in his usual military uniform. Upon spying the Coterie enter, he proceeds to walk over to Aldrich.
Aldrich will
Master-
bow respectfully.
Master Aldrich, or do you prefer Monsieur Aldrich?
Master, I'm trying to blend in a little better.
As you wish. I would have a word with you here. It is up
Of
to you.
course.
It is up to you if you wish to do this conversation in front of your coterie or privately.
Private works for me.
Come this way. We shall find a table.
Follow.
The sheriff gestures for you to take a seat at a small, two-chaired table. Master Aldrich, the Tremere have reported someone trespassing upon the British Museum. Though I am loath to take anything they say at face value, I would be derelict of my duty if I did not ask you, as well as others, if you know anything about this.
I missed the first part. Who is trespassing?
The Tremere have reported someone trespassing upon the British Museum.
I'm not sure what you mean by trespassing. My coterie had business there recently.
Ah, how interesting. There was an encounter with one of their guards. You didn't, or any of your party, use any of the powers of the blood, did you, inside?
Inside got a bit blurry to me. The museum. Well, I recently learned that ghosts inhabit there. If there is anything out of the ordinary happening, it most certainly has to do with that. We were also led inside by a Nosferatu.
Interesting. You wouldn't lie to me, would you, Aldrich?
But of course not.
Manipulation and subterfuge, please.
I'm gonna do some blood surge action on that. Go.
Absolutely. What a useless fucking sheriff. I take you at your word, Master Aldrich. Perhaps in future you should exercise more care with those you keep company with. We will be able to overlook this incident for now. mostly because it will annoy the Tremere, and that tends to bring me great pleasure.
I was interested about their status in the city. It's interesting they are able to hold a place under Elysium rules, even they're out of favor.
They themselves are not the ones that enforce the Elysium rules there. They were already in Elysium. Mithras, our lord, had declared it an Elysium. They then decided to inhabit it like rats upon a ship. Cowardly things they are. They are tolerated in our society. Barely.
Speaking of things that are barely tolerated, I have news on Valerius.
Do go on.
He's attempting to force his hand upon my coterie, get us to do favors for him. He did not leave us much of a choice. We have not done anything yet, but on one hand, you understand we do not want to, but if we don't, Valerius is in a position to where we are young. He is not. Fear for our safety should we upset him. On the other hand, with doing this, don't want to put myself at odds with the Mithras.
You've put yourself in a very precarious predicament. As long as you make no open moves against Mithras, which would be most unwise, as you would merely be ash by the end of the night, I suggest you go along with it for now. Report any suspicious activity either to myself, the Harpy, or indeed your shadow, and it shall be dealt with.
I appreciate that. Just wanted it to be known, so it did not seem like we were acting against our lord.
You are a very interesting kindred. You seem honest.
I get that a lot.
That will change as the nights go on.
I hope not. It is one of my defining features. Well then, Sheriff, I hope you enjoy the rest of your one more thing. The church, St. Paul specifically, is that under kindred rule?
It is not under any kindred's rule, but it is also considered a place of Elysium, though I doubt you'll be able to set foot inside of it. The building reeks of faith.
That is a superstition, is it not?
I forget how young you are, Master Aldrich. A true faith is one of the most lethal things the kind can wield against us. These nights, it is fairly common, though not as common as it once was. Thankfully, we live in an age of scientific revolution, though there are those that still cling to such superstition. They are lethal.
It's good to know. I did not know that was a thing. In my years, I have never seen evidence of anything to have faith in. Quite the contrary. Quite obvious evil lurks in this world.
Do you
Surprised
still
that there are
feel
those
the same?
I have yet to see anything on the contrary. I know evil
Around
exists.
You see what we are? If we are not proof that God exists, then whatever else could be. We are directly mentioned in the Bible, are we not? We are a product of the first sin, the first murder.
An interesting interpretation. I read it differently. But that is good to know. If one does encounter one with this true faith, as you say, surely we must have methods on how to deal with such a obstacle.
Of course. run.
This is good to know.
They,
Thank you, Sheriff, for your time.
and thank you for your honesty. Make sure it is not taken advantage of.
I don't know who would want to take advantage of little old me.
I would, for starters.
I'll take that as a compliment.
You may retire for the night.
And I do so. Turn into the rest.
Shiv, may I make a slight request? Thurston is very hungry, and he does not want to feed at Elysium. So before I show up at Elysium, can I do a little B&E to get a snack?
Absolutely. Do for me wits and awareness to find a suitable house.
Oh wait, no, that's the one I'm good with. I'm good. I was like, I'm bad at one of those. Which one is it?
You haven't rolled yet.
Yeah, you ain't getting rid of that messy critical.
Nope. Well,
Ow.
no, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, okay.
What's your hunger level?
4.
Grats. Thurston searches round the streets of London for a suitable house filled with victims. He finds one as he scales a wall and peers into a bedroom. A man and a woman lay in a dishevelled bed. As he looks upon them, the beast inside of him screams up to be fed. Caring not for the consequences, he breaks in through the window, smashing it to pieces, awakening the two inside. Before one of them has enough chance to react, he pounces upon the woman, sinking his fangs deep into her skin, and drains her of blood entirely. You may slake 3 hunger.
That went about as good as I expected.
And then
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And then.
the man, taking a cast iron, throws it straight at your face with all the force of his might. How would you like to react?
I would like to dodge.
Dexterity and athletics, please. Thurston skillfully moves out of the way of the cast iron, spinning straight for his face. The man is shocked at the lightning force reaction and stands there, mouth agape.
No witnesses, so I'm going to attempt to feed on him too.
Strength brawl, please.
Ooh. Where's I don't use brawl a lot. There it is.
You're not going to be able to get this. Would you like success at cost?
Yep.
Excellent. Thurston pounces upon the man, his fangs already out to bear. He sinks them deep into the man's skin and drains him as well of all of his vitae. You may slake 3 hunger. You take 4 humanity stains in total.
Oh wow. Okay. What happens if that's more than the empty slots I have?
What do
You
you
start
mean?
from the other side.
Yeah.
I have 7 humanity.
Okay. So you mark
So
one
you
of the
start getting
boxes
into
as
your
a stroke.
humanity.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Aren't you glad you did that?
Yeah. Starting the night out great.
Thurston later enters Elysium with a look of guilt upon his face, like a puppy caught in the act of stealing from his master's food at the table.
Stin, you look well. Reminds me,
Let's just say I talked myself off tonight.
What did you do?
I merely did what we all do.
as he says that, I look around for someone high on absinthe, preferably a young man.
Wits and awareness,
Handsome guy.
please. Oh, now you're getting really fucking fussy.
Yeah. Can't use investigation for that either.
Would you like success at cost? How many times am I going to say this tonight?
Too many.
Madame Eveline spies a perfect, delectable prey for her to feast upon. Staggering around in Elysium, it was absinthe you wanted him on?
Yes, please.
Right. She strides over to the prey, locking eyes with him, and cradles his face in her hand. She pulls her lips back and brings her 4 fangs to bear, bringing them down upon the unsuspecting prey. As she bites into his supple flesh, feasting upon the tasty liquid warm's insides, she drains him, with the beast screaming inside of her. As the dead body is discarded upon the floor, she feels the effects of the absinthe. You will lower your dexterity and intelligence dice pools by 1 die, but you may slake 3 hunger. And you get a lot of shaking head looks from everyone in Elysium. And you take a humanity stain.
Hey, Thirsty, you're not the only one.
I stretch my hands and kind of crack my knuckles a bit.
I go, it feels nice not being the only one.
I'm scared to ask at this point, but I think Drake's going to need a quick feed as well.
Aldrich leaves. Aldrich runs out the door before he has to witness another Coterie member.
So, next week we're going to be doing a Sabat game with the same characters.
Elysium sucks.
Do you care about...
My blood on tap.
No, I'm not. I don't need to be quite as picky. Just
All right.
someone discreet.
Record.
Just grab a nipple and leave.
Okay,
My
please
flaw
then
is I
just...
have to have someone on absinthe. That's the only reason
Yeah.
I said that.
Yeah.
We own 2 drug clubs. No morphine at Elysium. I'll just make sure everyone shows up full.
Just stop by
please
before
do
we
your
can't
feeding
get
roll, Sir Drake.
It's a strength and brawl. I'm fucking. Yeah.
Would you like to re-roll?
Yeah, because there's been too much depth in here. Yeah, right.
There we go.
There we
Sir Drake scans the room, tutting at Eveline and her lack of manners. He skillfully glides over to another of the kine, baring his 4 fangs, grabs it and sinks his teeth into it, exercising self-control and basic courtesy for others at Elysium. He drains 2 points worth of vitae from the victim, who lets out a pleasurable sigh and glides slowly to the floor, still breathing. You may slake 2 hunger.
Join on this feeding party, but pull a Thurston and do it on the way. because I am a drug addict and.
Would you like to do this at one of your own establishments?
Yeah, I was just gonna use my herd.
Oh, that's fine then. That's automatic.
That out of the way, because I can't scold people and then accidentally mess up. So we'll do that.
Okay.
I really gotta get me one of those herd
So you
things.
can
This
use
is
your
useful.
herd in game? Not before game? No. Okay.
Either. No, it's either. It's just.
I always thought it was supposed to be out of game, so I took advantage of that.
Yeah, you can. You can totally do it out of game. Just say, I'm feeding on my herd this week. I'd like to slake X amount of hunger. Cool. Or you can RP it out, which we vaguely did there. So in Elysium, after Aldrich has made a diversion at his own club, satiating his hunger and lust for... Is it opium your advantage or cocaine? Cocaine's just your hobby.
Opium.
Opium. So you also, of course, get...
I mean, I do both, but my...
You know what? Mine's
Nurse
actually
type
opium.
Well,
Perfect.
Did do. But his is a
Most-
merit, mine's a flaw.
yeah. The most Victorian of all drugs. So, well played.
Cocaine is just your hobby, yeah.
Same.
Yeah, that's a new fancy drug. I don't have time to be... Opium's always been there for me. I'll get it. Pokes well on its way.
The Coterie gather together at their own table in order to discuss the night ahead of them, because we're not even there yet.
Quick question. I assume Gray is at Elysium. He's
Don't
doing
tell me you
most
want to
of his
feed
meeting.
too.
No, he doesn't need to feed. But
Okay.
was anyone else at the Elysium who maybe saw Eveline and Thurston feed? Oh, wait, Thurston didn't feed at Elysium.
Yeah, I made the
Absolutely
comment.
all of you.
In our group.
Yes,
all of
I made
you.
a comment to Thirsty. I said, Thirsty, you weren't the only one.
Yes, that's what I thought. Gray would look over
Fucking
at
Banu Hakim has the
Alistair.
highest humanity.
We look over at Alistair. Yes, indeed, it would appear we're gaining a bit of a reputation. And he'd look over at Thurston and Eveline as a coterie. Not you or I, but just as a coterie. We are getting a reputation.
Yes, up until today, one individual managed to do his best to sully our reputation here. But he has shown improvement. Thank you for this, Thurston, but it seems Eveline has picked up your bad habits. Perhaps we can discuss eating before Elysium. If anyone needs help finding reliable sources of blood, I would be more than happy to set that up for you at my own expense. Save me the embarrassment of looking at Thurston again. Incidents.
That is a wonderful idea, Aldrich, and I do have to give you credit, Thurston. You did not make a mess in Elysium this week. Thank you.
Indeed,
Such a low
not
bar.
in Elysium.
What was that?
Nothing.
Indeed, they make the offerings here much too weak.
You know, honestly, I think that is one thing we can both agree on.
Inspector Gray. I'm gonna take out the book that I found. I might tap on your considerable talents. What do you make of this? Gonna hand you the book.
Oh, this is quite an odd book. Should I do like an investigation roll or anything like that with this?
Intelligence investigation, please.
Sure thing. And I will also say I've got no occult, so if it's anything occulty, I probably would be clueless.
Inspector Gray looks over the diary entry. He's no alienist himself, but he clearly recognizes the scrawlings of a touched mind.
Yes, this journal is quite strange. I've seen writings like this in my career. Usually it's signs of degrading mental condition, someone who's not all there or possibly mad in some sort of way. It is particularly disturbing that the inking used appears to be blood.
As you're all talking about this, Sir Drake just feels Alistair just kind of creeping up over his shoulder as he's talking about peeking over.
I want to... Inspector, if you could hand me the book, and I'll take the book. I'll hand it to Alistair. Perhaps an outsider opinion. What do you make of this?
I'd imagine a deranged mind would have a better take on this.
That's my hope.
I can't read that well. Can I read the book? Sure.
It's Victorian time.
I got one in academic.
That's what I was thinking was intelligence and academics, actually. Go with intelligence and academics.
If you have the same amount of dice as I do, I'm about to flip.
I'm gonna blood search for this.
I tried really hard.
Yeah.
No, it was a rest.
He really wants to impress you too. 4.
Alistair looks upon the diary. He himself is also no mentalist. Alienist. But he clearly recognizes scrawlings of a touched mind, one that is most likely Kine, possibly a killer of the serial kind.
I can read it. Well, I mean, I can't read it, but I can read it.
What's your take on the situation?
Where'd you get it?
And for the sake of brevity, I described to them everything that happened.
For reference, it's fairly close to Elysium, just off Leicester Square. That's yellow on the Monopoly board, kids.
I handed the book back. Oh, they were a murderer.
As I feared. I'm going to take the ring out, give it to Gray. You have people you can contact in positions of authority, if I'm not mistaken. I've seen you waving a badge around.
Ooh, can I have a badge?
It's been some time since I've tried to make contacts with my past life. I've tried to distance myself with that.
I maybe suggest being discreet and finding out if there's been murders or kidnappings to women with the name on the ring.
I'll see what I can do, and I'd take a look at the ring to see if I can make a note of the name on it.
It may even be worth informing authorities here. I fear serial killer. Even if they are kind, their sort of activity could attract attention to us. inadvertently a masquerade threat from those
Wait,
who
what
are
are
not
you-
even kindred.
You're saying we kill people in front of other people, and I look at Eveline Thurston.
Well,
That's crazy.
Anyway,
Yes, even if it is
what I'm saying is, continue.
even if it is kind and mundane, it's never good to have the increased attention around the city, especially at night.
My thoughts exactly.
and speaking of, drawing attention and whatnot, do you think maybe the ring should be held onto by the person most least likely to be wearing jewelry and whatnot of the group? If you don't mind, I could hold on to it for you for the time being.
It's pretty and shiny.
No,
Fine.
that's settled. Grace shall keep the ring. I'm curious as to your opinion, Aldrich.
And I am not all that interested in the matters of the kind, to be honest. But, as you said, it could lead to further problems, and we don't have our fingers on enough pies at the moment. I would hate something else to be thrown upon our plate. So it's good to be aware of what's going on.
Well,
We'll leave the looking into it to those better suited for it things.
certainly Gray is the best choice for the job. Without putting too fine a point on it, you have businesses that some of the clientele are less than savory, it's fair to say. Perhaps advising your staff to keep an ear to the ground may also work in our benefit.
This I can do. Though a murder, although this happened in a nice, was a nicer neighborhood, right, Trevor, that this happened? And where businesses are, I mean, murders are quite unfortunately common, but I can see if a pattern emerges.
Good idea. Well, I suppose on to our business for the evening, which was...
I was hoping we can visit friends we were told about weeks ago, the Samedi, over on the... Mostly because, from what little I understand of them, if anyone's seems our sort of look around and make sure we're not being eavesdropped on, the business with the extra guest in our home, looking to Evelyn, now that that guest is becoming more involved in our affairs. I want to get a better understanding of what we're dealing with. Two birds, one stone, as they say. Maybe they have information about these killings that have been going on, and maybe they can help us with our problem, or at least give us information.
Do we have to go tell Valerius his thing died?
No, we took care of that, and he gave us more jobs to do.
Yeah, he wants us to go to the West India dock.
I wasn't there for that.
Yeah, no, we informed him after the whole mess. Yeah, he wasn't happy, but we're still alive, so he couldn't have been that upset.
Is that man ever happy?
From what I can tell, no. I did speak to the sheriff, though. He is aware that we've been more or less forced to do Valerius' bidding for the time being. So the Camarilla Mithras will not think we are operating against him, though we might be doing minor favors for an enemy of his. So that at least is on the up and up. less thing I want coming back on us. Speaking of coming back on us, I covered our involvement in the... Well, we'll discuss that outside of Elysium. But if everyone is ready and fed, we can head to where we know this Samedi to be.
Eveline
No.
hears a whisper in her ear. Young lady, I wish time with you, alone. Make your excuses. Meet with me outside.
I will join you all in just a moment. At which point I get up and slip outside.
Where are you going? I know you're not thirsty. Surely you can't be.
Just need a breath of fresh air.
Did we wait for you?
Yes, please. I'll meet you at the carriage.
Okay. To the carriage then.
As Eveline exits out of the main Elysium floor, she hears a whisper once more, pulling her off to one side into a small niche chamber. As she enters in to the darkened chamber, she can make out the outline of a tall, grotesque figure wearing a white wedding dress, bedecked with long white gloves. A young lady.
Would I recognize this as the same person that Thurston talked to last week?
I think it's fair to say yes. She's fairly distinctive. Your behavior within Elysium is most unacceptable.
I greatly overestimated the sturdiness of the offerings inside. It will not happen again.
Ah, so you're blaming us for your mistakes.
Don't have this problem anywhere else.
Does the Camarilla not provide for you?
Here at Elysium.
I wish to know of this house guest of yours.
I would love to be rid of him.
What?
I don't want to go there.
What is it?
I don't know. It's this voice. This voice that compels me to do things that I don't want to do. I had no interest in ever getting this house and staying at this house. I want rid of it.
Does it have a name?
Actually, do I know its name? I mean, I know its name, but does Eveline know its name?
Has Sir Drake shared that information? Then no.
No name that I know of. Not that I've been told.
Violet Mary slowly walks up to you. You can start to see the outline of her face, of various bones sticking through what was once a beautiful young lady's face. She brings her gloved hand up to your cheek and begins to stroke it, running it round the back of your head, and ferociously grabs the back of your hair. You will tell me everything that goes on with this unknown creature, will you not?
Gladly, if I'll be rid of it.
I make no such deal to help you be rid of it. I merely wish to know what it is, what its name is, and what it makes you do.
I have no choice but to agree. But again, my hope is to be rid of it.
A smart girl. Don't forget, I can ruin your reputation with one sentence.
I seem to be doing that well enough on my own, thank you.
You certainly do, young lady. Now fly, fly.
I leave in a huff.
Eveline heads out of Elysium proper, onto the streets, and enters into the carriage with the rest of the coterie.
While we're in the carriage, I would like to use Blush of Life.
Okay, browse check for me, please. Gain a hunger.
So where are we headed tonight?
The East End London docks. There's a warehouse that we were told of. They are said to reside. We'll see what happens when we actually reach the warehouse, but perhaps we can approach as we usually do. Some of you very good at sneaking in and looking around, while some of us wait outside to discourage anyone from getting involved.
Yeah, I can be very discouraging when I put my mind to it.
This method has worked out before. I don't see why we should change things now. Although we now know that we are expecting a fellow kindred, so be aware of that. Well, if that is the case, actually, now that we know we are officially going into kindred in their domain, what do we know of the Samedi? Perhaps do they respect as any kindred is in their domain? Perhaps we should formally ask to meet with them instead of skulking about. I'm not sure.
I feel like common sense says yes. I mean, if somebody walked in our house, you'd want them to respect you.
This is true.
They should
to
make
know
that a rule. We'll call it
what I'm dealing with before I walk in, but I'm confident that we'll be able to handle whatever's thrown at us. Does anyone here know anything useful about this clan before we proceed?
I'm going to ask the storyteller, actually. Would Sir Drake, considering...
Do intelligence and occult for me, please.
Alright. Oh. When roll 20 wants to behave? Okay.
Sir Drake has heard reputation that they exist and they are more or less exclusive to one certain area of the Caribbean.
Highly, well, let's say, reclusive. Keep themselves to themselves. Caribbean in nature, so from my experience, probably naturally distrustful of, well, I'll be delicate and say people of our complexion. And with a right to.
Well, let us Then Alistair's he was smart to say it. Then we should approach respectfully. Do what we can. On the agenda will be first and foremost finding out what they know about the Emiraths around the city, if they're involved, and then secondary, perhaps introducing the issue of our house guest.
Anything else you wish to discuss on your way to the docks?
Oh, I will fill them in now that we're not at Elysium about my conversation with the sheriff. So we're all on the same page.
Okay. The Coterie take the carriage towards the London docks. It stops, and they each exit out onto the wharf and area. A few sailors and deckhands are working around, moving various cargo boxes and paying them no heed.
You take me to all the best places. We should look around for signs of the Samedi.
Yeah, Mr. Thurston, anyone we encounter, if you can do what you do and signal to us right away if they are of our kind or not.
Of course.
How does he expect you to signal? You want to throw me?
Signal with me.
I don't even think I could lift you.
What kind of
My dear.
why? I'll help.
I think you should try.
I walk away from the group.
I mean, we know of like this specific warehouse, correct? But I had written down at least. I don't know if I have it.
You know it's one of the warehouses.
A warehouse. Okay. Yeah, I guess we just stick together. I would encourage, and then look around warehouse to warehouse.
Okay.
Sir Drake would also be keeping an eye out for uniformed, any uniformed East India regiment present.
Okay. So Drake, that's going to be an automatic success. You don't see any of the East India Trading Company.
Okay.
This is the London docks, not the West Indy. That docks. That's different docks.
Yeah. Okay, no problem.
I keep wanting to say East India, West Indy docks, but it's not that. Thurston,
Mm-hmm.
would you prefer wits and awareness or intelligence and investigation? We'll get to you, Inspector Gray, don't worry.
The former.
Okay, roll the former for me, please. Excellent. Inspector Gray, what were you saying?
Actually, quick question. Since the unseen and heightened senses are both free passives, is there anything stopping me from doing them together? I don't think so, right?
No,
Okay.
it's fine.
Could I use sense the unseen and heightened senses?
Yep.
Okay. I'll display them both. So this is heightened senses. I think that gives me a bonus to my rolls.
Helps you see in the
Okay.
dark kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I add my Ausbucks rating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then sense the unseen. And I'm basically looking around for anything that would look to me like kindred, maybe someone hiding or something like that.
Well, first of all, Thurston,
Mhm.
you find a warehouse with a ship very close by in the assigned dock. As you look around and check the shipping manifest, you see it has come from the Caribbean.
My dear Ardwig, sorry.
Inspector
I do
Gray.
believe I found what we are looking for, and now you can talk, Shiv, sorry.
Thanks, babe. Inspector Gray, you see various small auras coming from the same warehouse, and it attracts your attention.
Is Thurston nearby me, or we're all still kind of together, right?
Yeah, when I walked away from the group, I just kind of went ahead just to be away from the conversation that we were diving into.
Okay, I would step closer to Thurston. Thurston, good fellow. I see it looks like there's some activity over in that warehouse. Did you find anything interesting?
Yes, if we are looking for people that originate from the Caribbean, I do believe that that warehouse over there might be a solid starting spot in our search.
I would nod. Indeed. Good work. And I'd step back closer to the group and give them the information Thurston and I uncovered. Yes, it appears there's a warehouse with shipments from the Caribbean. I think that's our mark.
Okay, well, perhaps we present ourselves as we would if we were entering a new city. That's probably the best foot forward.
When in Rome.
I've never been to Rome.
Yes, that, I mean, technically speaking, they're in our city, representing the Camarilla. We're doing an official investigation. We have the right of authority here. But, taking your and Alistair's advice, let's approach this in a more friendly matter. We don't want to remind them of the differences between us at the moment. But we do have that right, should we need to use it. I'll try to contain my inner venture. Perhaps business proposition. It seems to be what's happening one way or another anyway. Every culture, every people, they understand profit.
Yeah, no arguing there. Okay.
They set up at the docks in the warehouse. They're involved in some sort of trade, so we have things we can offer. And it wouldn't necessarily be deceitful too. Perhaps there is. I continue this rapid expansion until someone stops me. I feel like it might be any day now. Shiv?
Ah, it's a shame we're not lying. You're awfully good at it, after all. Shall we?
Let us proceed.
You all approach the warehouse, going straight towards the entrance. A heavy-set man, clearly a sailor, stands in your way and blocks entry. He gruffly says to you, and I'm not going to bother doing the sailor voice that we all expect, "Can't go in there."
I will first look to Thurston, see what we're dealing with. Just look for a yay or nay.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I was about to step forward and talk, but yeah, I'll check that first. I would like to use Sense the Unseen, or not Sense the Unseen, Sense the Beast on this man, please.
I don't even think you need to roll for that. I think that's going to be an automatic success, and you sense no beast within him. It would be fair to say he is mortal.
Then I'm going to walk up to him and say, "My good sir, we are here to inspect the cargo that we ordered. So please let us inside so that we may see what we have rightfully purchased."
I'm sorry, mate, but this warehouse is already in use, and you're pretty close, but I can tell you ain't the people who's hired it.
But I'm merely a representative, of course, I understand. This is all misunderstanding.
You got business inside?
We do. I don't know why I'm going into an accent. Like I said, we are here to inspect our wares.
The man looks around and sees it's just your coterie and himself. He says, "Look, I'm pretty sure that we're on the same wavelength here, alright? So don't screw me around. You got business with the folks inside?"
Yes.
Right. Why didn't you just fucking say so in the first place? Come up
I
here
was
all
trying
fucking...
to say that. You told me I was wrong.
Well, you came up here and you were all like business deal. I got a job to do. I can't just let any old Tom, Dick and Harry in. But if you have business inside, then fine. Wait, you should have just said so in the first place. Wasting my time like this.
Sir,
Don't bother talking to me. Just get inside.
You could have been dealing with her, and I point back at Evelyn and I step inside.
Don't promise me a good time.
It would have been.
Tempted to.
Shiver as I walk past him. We'll be good, and I'll cast Demon on him.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Why?
Is demontation
Why?
resolve?
Why not?
Show me demontation.
I mean, of all the people to ask me why, give me a second. My sheet messed up and it wouldn't expand.
Okay, manipulation and dominate, please.
Yeah, I have my set up. Probably gonna reroll that.
That's fine. That's fine. The man
Yeah.
looks at you, and he goes a little bit cross-eyed as you go past. As you walk past, he can't help himself, and reaches behind you and smacks your bum.
Whoo! Thurston will be jealous.
He leans against the wall and crumples down, head on his shoulders.
Well, there goes another one. Well done.
Shake my head and head in.
Everyone inside?
Just so we're aware, Traven gave me a reroll. He didn't realize I didn't need it, so I'll save it for later.
Yay. As you enter into the warehouse, you see various pieces of cargo opened, closed, jutted all around the room in a kind of haphazard manner. Out of the shadows, you hear a voice. I apologize in advance for this. Bonjour, madame, mademoiselle, monsieur.
Good.
I am so glad that you have arrived. Who are you? And at that point, we'll take a break. French. Où as-tu appris le français?
I will apologize for my accent, but I will say it is from my mother's side.
Le France vous manque-t-elle? Do you miss France?
Say, not so much.
Puisque vous parlez avec une langue civilisée, nous pouvons faire des affaires. Since you speak with a civilized tongue, we can do business.
I'll thank him, and then I'll say, for the sake of my associates, I'll be switching to a lesser but more common tongue among
Bon.
parts.
And so what brings you here, huh? What business do you have with the Samedi, huh? It's going to be a lot of just so you know. That's my thing to keep the French accent going.
Yeah, we're here, I'm sure you're all too aware that the Camarilla city are, well, they have a deep suspicion of you. We're here to clear that suspicion.
For all your pretense of civility, since we have been here, all we have seen is violence and elitism. You look upon us, and all you see is shambling, putrid corpses. You do something for us, show us that you are not the ones that want to harm us, that we have nothing to fear from you, and we will assist you in kind. That is how we work. We scratch your back if you scratch ours, and don't tear off too much flesh in the process.
But I would like nothing more than to find something that is mutually beneficial to us both.
Très bien. And so, are you willing to do something for us?
Say the word. We bring a multitude of talent. I'm sure it can handle whatever it is you need.
One of our recently embraced was taken in by a retired Catholic priest. Obviously, she was going through the change, which is a gradual process. The priest, of course, thought it was possession. Normally, this wouldn't be too much of an issue. I'm losing the accent. One night, the child would just appear to be dead, and then the rot would set in. This one, however, is more tenacious and self-confident than others. He really believes he can save her from demonic possession. We obviously can't go walking around the city and extract the embrace ourselves. Your Mithras has allowed us to stay here as long as we keep quiet and unseen. Like this entire country, you sweep what you don't want to see under the city itself to live among the shit you throw out and discard, then fool yourselves into believing what you have and see is how it is everywhere. The last we heard, the child was being cared for in London Hospital, not far from here. Though it is doubtful the priest will tolerate medicine being applied to a charge of his hubris and belief will make him think prayers and the applications of holy water and olives will cure anything. Start your search there and see where it leads you. Bring the child to us in whatever state you find it in. God, it's so hard to resist doing a fucking hello impression when I'm saying that shit, I have to say.
Did he give us a location? That was the one part I trying to get all that down.
London Hospital.
Yeah, do you have the name of your child or perhaps the priest?
Well, I do not know the name of the priest, but the child herself, she was to be called Serena.
Parfait. We will take care of this. Have you had to run in with this priest before? Do you know if this is someone who really pose any danger? I've recently run into something they're calling the true faith. Do you know if this priest possesses such a thing?
He is a Catholic priest. He is tenacious. He may well have this true faith, but I'm sure for you it will not be a problem. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 of you, huh?
Yes, I just like to go in as best informed as I can be. I do not believe I caught your name. Aldrich. Extend a hand to him.
You extend the hand of friendship to the dead? How interesting. You may call me Jacques for now. And he reaches out with the very skeleton, necrotic hand and firmly grasps yours.
Firm shake. Is there anything else? Any other questions we have? Say, looking around to the group.
Well, I suppose we've got the information we need. A recently embraced fledgling is under the care of a priest in a hospital, and we have to do extraction. Seems fairly cut and dry.
These things are often very simple and present little to no complication, I'm sure.
The child herself will appear to be in her mid-20s. You have a little time before she will appear as beautiful as us.
Does she come from same region of the world as you do?
No. She was a local girl. Why does that sound so fucking saucy?
Working for me. Keep this conversation going. Okay.
No, don't.
Tell me more about this local gal. That is all I need. Thank you.
Au revoir, mes amis.
Au revoir.
Close the door on the way out. We don't like the draft.
Well, I must say, of all the interactions we've had so far, I like him the most.
It's quite pleasant. I'm glad we approached in a friendly manner. So, any thoughts on how to extract someone from a hospital? Hospital with a, the priest gives me, normally I spoke to the sheriff about this. I'm not sure if the rest of you are aware of this thing called true faith. I had me and, Miss Eveline had our first encounter with it, I believe.
Wasn't.
Of course,
What
I
happened?
believe in such things, but I guess if other people do strong enough, it can pose a problem.
I certainly have heard of the power of faith and the protection faith offers, but I never really took it as seriously as the church would want you to.
Well,
I'm most curious, something I'd like to look into more perhaps later. Said my whole life, even before my embrace, I saw no evidence of a kind God.
in my experience, there's plenty of reasons to be worried about the Catholic Church outside of any superstitious power they might have over us.
How do you think we should approach?
Well, my best estimation, asking nicely seems to have gotten us a fair amount in advance of what we pursue today. So we asked nicely, and if that doesn't work, then, well, we asked not so nicely.
Sure, we will have to resort to a less than kind manner with the priest himself, but yes, we can ask around the hospital and see where.
Should we endeavor to remain hidden, or are we going to just walk up to the hospital?
There are a few of us who can probably easily convince whatever mortal is working at the hospital to tell us where Serena is. Not all of us will need to be involved with that, but all of us will need to be involved when dealing with the priest.
Yeah, well, in and out is the best course of action. If she completes her embrace, well, we're going to have a massive masquerade breach on our hands.
Jacques said we have some time until she is a walking breach. Hopefully we can wrap this matter up tonight.
Right, well, we
To
best
be
get to
in a
it.
hospital, it's not like those people look all that good.
True. And hopefully the priest visits. Well, maybe the priest would visit at night. That is when his little project would be most active. We shall. To the hospital then.
Is there anything you would like to discuss on your journey?
How long has it been since you last heard the mother tongue, Aldrich?
I have a few associates who I can make sure I don't get too rusty with.
Was it pleasant, or are you indifferent? Hearing it, I mean.
It brings back nice memories, though his accent was interesting. But France was... Well, I'm here now. I am not a nostalgic individual. I very much am forward-facing. I was ran out of France, had no love for me or my family, so I'm hoping to find the good people of London more welcoming to my endeavors.
Well, I passed through myself just before I arrived here, so I think I'm somewhat cognizant of what you're referring to. You were lucky to escape.
I was. I've not been lucky in many aspects of life, but perhaps that was my first, and hopefully not my last.
A brush with death.
Luckily, in our situation, we can afford to be patient. I hope to rebuild myself here. When France has its affairs worked out, I can return.
Fortunate. It's not always easy going home. I wish you luck
find
in that
myself
regard.
A bit territorial. I'm not a nomad like you.
I wasn't a nomad by choice, but more conviction, I suppose.
The carriage carries on through the bustling streets of London, eventually pulling up outside of the London hospital, of which I couldn't find decent pictures from the Victorian age. Please forgive me.
Oh, how dare you.
You're born here and you die here. Wonderful. Well, not us, but you know what I meant.
I would like to take point in inquiring where Serena is held.
I concur. You're our best foot forward most of the time.
Oh, I was asking who would like to do it, but yes, I can do this. I can leave. I think the rest of you might be more suited to deal with. I don't want to
Well,
have
if
deal
it
with
was
a
a
priest.
request rather than a statement, then I guess I could put my best foot forward.
He fails, I can be backup.
Yes, Thurston, I believe you are deserving of a second chance.
I could try to look around, stay unseen.
It is useful as well. Once we know of the room, I definitely want someone to check things out before we just barge in. Thurston, I'll go with you and let's inquire which room we're looking for. Evelyn, if you'd like to join.
It would be my pleasure.
If I may, Aldrich, a little bit of a backup plan. We are going into a hospital. We could use, and then he motions just to his visage as a way of getting past the front desk and in further.
It comes to that. I think they'll want to put you in your own room to help you rather than put you in a room with another patient who's suffering enough. But as you said, it could get us further in.
I'm just saying that the option's on the table.
Good to know.
I've often found if you look like you belong somewhere, people don't ask questions.
Exactly.
Very much.
When we head in, so Drake will be looking for some sort of like orderly station, or he's looking for an orderly outfit, basically, that he can change into.
You're not going to find any spare rags and tags strewn about the place, but there are plenty of orderlies moving around, such as they are.
Looking around. I have to do this the hard way. Let me just take a look.
They'd have to, making their rounds, be disposing of, let's say, medical waste, probably out the rear of the building, right?
Yeah. Various body parts in a great big basket.
Yeah.
I'm actually not hungry, but feeding on him would leave him in a state of like, ooh.
Yeah, for a little bit.
And that might work. Probably fast enough to do what I need. So I want to try and do that and steal his clothes, Hitman style.
From around the side of the building, I'd like you to do strength and stealth, please.
Kindu's got a point. You don't have to be hungry to eat your favorite food.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm fat.
Don't make me stop this game and turn it around just to tell you off, Miss Harts. Sir Drake.
I mean, fat and attractive.
I'm seeing you after the game. Sir Drake goes around the side of the building, finding an orderly, disposing of various limbs, throwing arms and legs just out willy-nilly onto the streets. He distracts the orderly and bares his fangs, sinking them deep into the skin and flesh. You may slake 2 hunger as you discard the orderly into an alleyway and relieve him of his clothes, leaving him cold outside on the streets.
All right. Orderly togs on, I should say, and somewhat topically, probably some sort of face mask.
No.
No? Okay.
Not in those days.
Never mind.
Don't even have to wash your
I'll head
fucking
in.
hands either.
Yeah, true. I will head in anyway, and sort of wait for the rest of the coterie to enter. Like if I'm behind in the staff area, just wait until I get visual confirmation that everyone's inside before I head off to search for our target.
Is everyone inside?
Yeah.
They'll be standing around in the main foyer.
Okay. I grab a
Strange as this
nearby.
may seem, compared to modern day hospitals, who gives a shit?
Yeah. We'll grab a nearby trolley of some kind, something to make it look like I'm doing something, and then I will begin. How big's the building?
It's pretty big. London Hospital is pretty big. It's a 3-wing. Christ, I wouldn't even hazard a guess at how many floors, but plenty of floors in those days.
To find out. They might not know who she is, so I'm looking for a Jane Doe of some kind.
Do intelligence and let me double check I'm not making shit up as I go along. Not intelligence and technology for me, please.
Oof, alright, just intelligence. 3.
What's your willpower level like at the moment?
I've only got 3 left. To be honest, if this doesn't work, I will
Okay.
go float again near the entrance and wait to see if my colleagues can discover more information that I can then act on.
Very well.
And I will look busy. I'm literally just going like moving bottles on a cart and cleaning something just to blend in.
Mercury, lithium.
Yeah. The good stuff.
Yeah.
Leeches.
No, not in Victorian times.
Wait for Thurston to. I don't know. Old hospitals work. Was there? I assume some sort of person there near the front to get information from or check people in.
There's a nurse on the front.
Just sticking my Thurston's side, waiting for him to take the lead to find out where this room is.
Just refresh my memory. Who exactly are we looking for? Name?
Serena.
Looking for Sierra.
Okay.
I wrote down Serena.
Serena.
That's what I said.
Are you sure it's me that you want to go ask?
I asked for volunteers and you said
You're-
yes, and now you seem to be wavering, so I will take the lead.
Okay.
I'll
Well,
take
I
the
I
lead
don't
stepped
know
back
like
up.
a patient, so.
I said
We do have-
up when he failed.
Yeah.
That's true. Evelyn, you're up. Someone.
So there's an orderly station. Male or female?
It's the Victorian age. Nurses are female. Simple
Well,
as that.
it'll probably be me, right? If I'm blending in.
You're up, piddling around in the foyer with an orderly station in a disorderly fashion.
Miss, I'm looking for my friend. Can you help me?
I'll try my best. Who are you looking for?
Her name's Serena, and she most likely looked like on the edge of death.
Serena. Well, that levels it down. Have you tried the pauper's wing?
Not at all. That's not where I would expect someone who would be my friend would be, but she went there by mistake.
That's where I'd start looking. Have a nice night.
Thank you very much. Serena.
Is there a lead in? Is there special rooms where you keep ones who are undergoing treatments that might not be strictly hospital business? We understand a priest has been visiting her very regularly. Seems quite troubled
Very
beyond.
in tune with the church.
Oh, is she nearly dead?
Perhaps
That.
we were given news of the priest believes it was a possession, so that's why we are here to check in.
Oh,
on this.
that one. She was checked out by the priest.
Oh, when was this?
I believe it was 2 nights ago.
Do you happen to have this priest's information? We can locate her.
I'm afraid not. Other than his name was Father John.
Sure which local diocese he was from or anything of the sort?
Well, Catholic churches aren't really very popular here. I can't even think of a Catholic church operating in London, strangely enough, but he should be easy enough to find if you can just ask around. He didn't seem the type to stay quiet.
Would other staff or patients here know of him? Did he visit anyone else?
Not to my knowledge, but I try not to fraternize with them. They're covered in all sorts of pieces that I don't want to associate with.
Well, thank you for your help. So yeah, just stepping away with the others. She brought up a good point that there's not that many Catholic churches, but if she's now in a church where you need to infiltrate, that's significantly more difficult. Does anyone know who to ask where to find a church, or does anyone simply know? Can't be very common here.
Any church, or do you need a specific one? Because wasn't there one before? What we're talking about?
This would have to be a Catholic church, which, to my understanding, are quite rare here. So if we find one, there's a good chance it is the one.
Shiver.
Yes, babe.
We know if there's a part of town that would be more akin to. Like, I would think the richer part of town is probably staying more non-Catholic, but the poorer part are more apt to join the quote-unquote cult.
What's your wits and awareness like?
Is it an Irish
or would
part
you
of town?
prefer intelligence and awareness?
Either or.
Okay, do wits and awareness for me, please.
One.
Would you like success at cost?
Nope.
All right.
I would mention this to Aldrich at this point. Wouldn't it make sense?
Why don't
These
we just go to the
congregations
street
would
and ask
happen.
around?
We just don't want to go ask in an area where it's suspicious.
It's the poor. Who cares?
Yes, and
The
certainly
poor?
we could. Surely we could
Sorry,
ask
not
someone.
everybody's of your stature.
Surely we could ask someone where one might go to pay their respects or give donations or something of the sort. I take it the Catholic Church does still accept donations in exchange for confessions? Is that still something practiced?
I was raised strictly Protestant.
Inspector Gray would go to a nearby individual and ask them, excuse me, do you know where one may go to seek confessional?
Confessional what?
To church.
You one of them
I'm new
Catholics?
to... Yes, as a matter of fact.
What the bloody hell are you doing talking to me? Go down to one of the pubs with the Irish in them.
Oh, very well. Thank you. Thank you. That's just what I need. A confessional pint. I'd go back to the group. It would seem that all the Catholics are at the pub. We should go there. Maybe even Father John will be present.
It's like a lead. Good enough for me. Let's make haste.
The Coterie head out of the hospital, back into their carriage. Is there anything you wish to discuss upon your journey?
I'm getting back into the carriage, and as I'm getting back in, just putting my shirt and my coat back on.
Are you still wearing the rest of the orderly's outfit? Your shirt,
No,
your
no,
coat over?
I'd
Oh.
have discarded it. But yeah, I'll put the rest of the coat back on. Catch Evelyn's eye just for a second. You saw more before. You're okay now?
What?
In the were you delirious at the time? The basement. A few nights. You know what? This is probably. It's probably good you don't remember. And let's sit back.
I look at you.
Yeah.
Give you squinty eyes.
Yeah, 100%.
Are you naked in the basement?
See such things.
Well, I mean.
By the basement, you mean the painting room, right?
Why? Is there a pool down there? A bath?
If Alistair, honey, if he was naked in that basement, I would have remembered.
He didn't say you were there. He said she was.
I'm practically there all the time anyway. I've got nowhere else I live.
Call it an old habit, I don't know. It's something I picked up on my travels.
Is that a cultural
Maybe-
thing?
A little bit. It's more. I don't know. Maybe it's the bestial part. In any case, I never extended my apologies for that evening. My dear, so
It's not proper for a lady to see such things. I saw nothing.
let's not lie and say you saw nothing, but all the same, my apologies are there.
Alistair's over there just going like this. Little awkward turtle.
The horse and carriage journey carries on, with Madame Eveline becoming slightly red in the face as it carries on in awkward silence. Eventually, they pull up in the city of London itself. Outside of a quaint Irish pub, various noises of kine gathered inside, enjoying the inebriation already emanating out from the streets.
Very well. Should we grab a table?
Yes, let us.
Like a proper place for a lady. Yeah. I'll stay in the carriage.
Very well.
Whatever we
Right,
do,
if
let's
I-
do it quickly.
We do it quickly, and I doubt drunken louts are going to have much of this faith, true faith that you were referring to, but we should be on our guard anyway. Well, most of my experience with the Catholic Church is people shelling out a tuppence or two not to feel so bad in the morning.
Well, when you put it that way, there's a lot of similarities with a pub, shell out some coin in exchange for a stiff drink. Huh?
Is that true? Either way, we don't need to get into the reason why the downtrodden masses are here or there. We just need to know where, if anyone knows who Father John is and where he is. And if not, can they point us to the nearest Catholic church?
If I may, we should go into this pretending that we're like them. And I want to cast Blush of Life.
Do a rouse check for me, please.
That's
Wonderful.
actually a wonderful idea.
Yes, I'll do
I
the
would
same.
like to do that as well.
Okay. Rouse checks.
Also, I don't think it matters for Thurston.
Yeah, say Thursday. It's just
Yeah.
that makes him look
Sure.
worse if he's somehow warm and ugly. Then
The eat food merit, does that apply to drinks too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you just can't actually get drunk off of it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's
Yeah.
not gonna make you sick.
Yeah,
So Drake gain
I
100.
think, and I think Blush of Life will allow you to pretend to eat too. You just within like an hour you'll have to go to the bathroom.
yeah, Blush of Life gives you like an hour. Eat food. Just gotta throw it up before you go to bed.
Yep.
I'm not doing that. Aldrich, blending in is. I'm not going to blend in one way or another. So I will enter separately. We can do a two-pronged approach. Hopefully I won't even have to do my prong. I will let you guys keep an eye out to see if you get the information you need. If not, I will force it out of someone. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. I will let you do what you do best.
Well, I look around and I point to Gray and Alistair and then Thurston. I'm technically the only man of standing left, my lady, so
Offer you my arm as Aldrich would usually do.
She's staying in the carriage.
let me let you in on a little secret. You can be awfully persuasive by merit of your attendance.
Proper place.
Hold on a little bit. What was that?
But this isn't the proper place for a lady.
I don't think she needs to lower herself to that form of persuasion at a place like this. I think the rest of your forms of persuasion will do just fine.
I'll
We can't
run
get
up-
information out of a bunch of drunks, and we have other problems.
Yeah, I'll run up to Drake. I'll take his arm. I'll say, "We'll just get him drunk, and they'll tell us anyways." And I'll pull you.
Can't argue with that. Here we go.
The group enter into the pub, seeing the revelries, such as they are, with people standing on tables, various songs being sung, ladies of ill repute enjoying pints of lager, sat upon tables, legs akimbo.
I basically want to thrust myself into this situation as deep as I can. So I want to pretend I'm a drunk and just go up and start hanging out with I'm going to thrust myself in here.
I mean, I finished a sentence with legs akimbo. I'm going to put myself in this situation and thrust myself in. And I'm like, really? Really?
That's why I did it.
Low hanging
So
fruit.
yeah, I would basically blend into the crowd and just kind of start. I'm gonna try to get the others to come with me too, and just kind of nudge in, and then keep an eye out with some people that we think would loose lip sync ships type people. So
I kind of go with them, but I stay far enough away that I'm just merely in earshot, not actively
he's
in
a
the
wallflower.
Yeah. So Drake would have left his top hat in the carriage, and I will be looking for it being an Irish bar in particular. Any sort of gambling or wager going on?
Any sort of what? Sorry, going on? You broke up a bit.
Gambling or like wagers, anything like that? Cards, arm wrestling, whatever.
Wits and awareness for me, please. Alistair. Actually, I think, Alistair, you're going to be an automatic success. You'll have no problem finding someone suitable. Sir Drake, however, is
Lovely.
rather fucked.
Oh, you're a gangrel too. Oh.
Yeah.
Sir Drake spies his eyes around the entire scene, feeling not exactly out of place. However, seeing this much food willy-nilly in a various inebriated state makes the beast within him growl and come forth. He returns to an animalistic state, regressing to a point where speech itself is even hard, clothes are uncomfortable, and arguments are best settled with teeth and claws. For the remainder of the scene, Sir Drake gains a 3 dice penalty to all rolls involving manipulation and intelligence, and can only speak in one-word sentences.
I remember somebody else getting this bestial thing, and she
Yep.
do it.
I was looking to have fun with this Bane, so thank you very much. Here we go. All right.
Aldrich will. He's waiting a few moments, very much entering separately than the rest.
A few moments.
Showing up, looking out of place, just going straight to the bar, but flashing some money to just buy something more expensive for them at this place, and just ordering a drink and just sitting at the bar. He's
You get a lager in a
appearing
clean glass.
standoffish. And yeah, I'll just be there, keeping a side eye on the rest of the people, but mostly appearing unfriendly and hopefully left alone.
How loud is the place?
It's an Irish pub at night. It is fucking loud. Almost as loud as a Motorhead concert. Sorry, almost as loud as an Engine Neck concert.
I am
I
going
could
to
have said engine blowjob. What?
yeah. Engine fellatio. I'm going to scan. I mean, the mission's totally gone from my head at this point. I'm going to scan the bar for the person who looks the most like he wants to fight somebody.
I've been here before.
Yeah, I don't think you need to roll for that in an Irish pub. Take your fucking pick.
Biggest dude.
Yep, okay.
Walk over to him. Assuming probably not on his own.
No.
Just walk straight up, kind of behind. Tap him on the shoulder.
I apologise in advance for this. What the Jesus fucking Christ do you need?
Local.
Of course I'm not fucking local. Listen to me fucking voice. Jesus Christ, are you dumb as shite?
Wonderful. Where's he standing? Surrounded
Up in one of the corners, probably
Cool.
pretty close to the bar.
I'm going to just one hand, like real, like on his shoulder. First one's free. Point to my own chin.
Are you fucking nuts? And he is going to headbutt you in
Yes.
true Irish style.
Yeah.
Are you dodging or just going to take it?
I'm gonna let him hit me.
Okay. That's going to be net 1 superficial damage.
Cool. My turn. And I'm gonna headbutt him back again.
Strength and brawl, please.
I'll do it.
The man reels back, slamming his head against the wall. He looks at you for a brief moment, goes cross-eyed, and slumps straight to the ground on his knees, unconscious.
I'm gonna look to his mates. Just a spark of clarity from the violence that I just enjoyed. Priest.
What kind of priest?
Catholic.
Oh, you want Father John?
Where?
Well, you see, he set up an old parish himself now in his house. It's just a few blocks down. I don't know why I'm saying blocks. We don't use blocks in England, but now I'm kind of scared of you. Charlie's fine. If he hadn't been unconscious on the floor here, he'd be unconscious outside on the street. This is normal for him.
Good man. Point to Charlie. Just take
We
out
owe you a drink, by the way.
No, I am a drink because I knocked him out. So a couple of pennies and I just throw it on his sleeping chest. And hopefully the others were within earshot of that. Because I'm not.
The
really
moment
in the
your
mood to
back is
conversate.
turned, they are picking up that fucking money and putting it in their own pockets.
Yeah, it's fine.
Nice fellow, Dad.
Gray would have gone to the bartender and got himself a pint. And he'd wander on over and look over towards Drake. Ah, I see, good fellow. You've made some friends.
Point to the front of the bar. He's up the road.
All right. I'd turn back around to go over to Alistair. Alistair's in the bar, right? Yeah. I think our friend Drake here is might have hit his head or something.
Did he fall?
Well, I mean, not exactly. His head hit someone else, and they fell.
Oh, cool. And I'll go back to talking to somebody.
So what I'm trying to tell you is, right, that the workers control the means of production. We're the ones.
Yeah.
Right? This guy makes a lot of sense now.
The whole time, I'm just going, yeah. Just agreeing the whole time.
You see, there's this shadow, they say, that's looming across Europe. And we're the ones that should be in charge. Not these bastards with their heads up in their arses saying what we should be doing. We're the ones that make them the money, you see. We should be the ones making the money.
Yeah.
Thurston's off to the side with both of his fingers, or like all of his fingers pressed into his forehead, going, "They're gonna say something useful eventually. They might. They just might."
In the middle of that conversation, I'll be like, you know what we need? Better religion.
Religion. We don't need more religion. To see, if you're Catholic, that's all you need. You can drink, you can beat your wife, and you can do the sex. It's all you need for a fulfilling life.
This is exactly what I've been looking for. Where do I go to look for something like that?
Convert him.
Completely not part of the conversation. Wherever Thurston's at, he slams the table in front of him and goes, "Thank you."
There's this place, right, over in the middle of town if you need to get your end away. It's perfectly fine, because what you do is you go in there, you pay a couple of farthings. I don't think we have farthings at this time. A couple of pence, and then you do what you need to do. It's fine, and then you can go and see this guy. His name's John. Father John, and you just give him a little bit more money, and he says it's all fine, and you can go, and it's great. He wipes away everything you do.
Wait, you just pay someone and it gets rid of your problems?
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know why aren't more people doing this? It's the way forward.
So wait.
This is
Let me
possibly
get
the
this
best
straight.
Irish accent I've ever fucking.
We go down. We pay money, and then we got to go see Farter John.
Father
We pay
John.
him. Father
Right.
John. Okay.
That's what I said. Yeah, Father John.
We pay him, and then everything bad I do is gone.
Right. It's just as
I look
easy
over
as
at
that.
Thurston.
At this point, I walk over to Thurston. Just grab him, like literally, no conversation. I just grab you by the like, whatever you've got here, and just start walking towards the front door. And I point down the street in the direction I was given. Priest.
I'm just like being dragged and like eyes locking with Alistair. Like, I guess I'm part of this now.
Turn around.
Come back again
give
soon,
Alistair-
friend. I really like talking with you.
Yeah.
He made a lot of sense. More sense than anyone else in this fucking establishment.
And once we get outside, I turn to Sir Drake. I'm just like, oh, I get it. You got information too. Gotcha. Sorry, the conversation Alistair was in I had to make sure I paid a lot of attention because they were talking about a lot of stuff, and I had to make sure anything was important. So that was what I was focusing on. I'm not quite sure.
Talk. Priest. And at this point, Drake's so fed up, he's just going to start walking up, like he's running up the street towards the Catholic Church.
Most people call that
location
an
we're
Irish
given.
exit. We just call it an exit.
Gray would give Alistair a pat on the shoulder. Good work finding out the lead for Father John. We should definitely track this down immediately.
Leave. I need to tell Aldrich about this. This is a great way to make money. We could just pretend that we could wipe away sins. Genius.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Being able to pay to get rid of any sins or concerns would certainly make living your life a lot easier.
What if we could trick people into... Never mind.
Honestly, I'm glad, Alistair. I'm glad you see this as a proper, business venture. I was really worried that you thought that guy, like that, giving money to wipe away your sins was a good idea. That it actually worked. I was legitimately thought you thought that that's how that worked. So I'm glad you've got a good head on your shoulder.
It doesn't work. I just figured they, that's something they should have done for the good of their heart, but instead they were just conning you out of money on top of it.
No, it's just a con.
Still a good idea, though.
Is this whole conversation happening in the carriage or just outside?
No, we would be outside. I don't know if we were in the carriage, but we were walking the carriage.
Yeah, I assume that we were just slowly following in Sir Drake's footsteps.
It would be the
Just-
last.
yeah.
Yeah, Aldrich would just be waiting. He's gonna make sure he's the last to leave, just because how some people approach that. They could have seen having to do damage control, but he didn't have to. So he just watches, doesn't touch his drink. Somehow everyone leaves, and as to see.
At that point, the storyteller wondered just what the fuck happened. Sir Drake, have a willpower point for that compulsion playthrough, and it is now over.
Go.
Yeah. I've been to
Running.
a bar before, can you tell?
Sir Drake, running down the street, are you going straight to the building you've been told about?
Yeah, if I've got my wits about me by the time I get there, I'm like, right, shit, fucking ran off. Right, I'm going to wait for the coterie to arrive. So.
Very well. You'll be waiting outside the specific house you've been told about. The light is on in the upstairs, presumably bedroom.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So we need money to get in.
Yeah, I have plenty on me. That's fine. And Aldrich's still just sort of reeling that nothing bad happened there. He's like got hit with his own force. just walked into chaos and somehow it just stopped and then everything's fine.
Isn't it
yeah,
just walking
no.
past the carriage?
I probably would have notified the driver of the carriage that we were headed up to a certain house to bring Evelyn along.
Yeah.
I think
I have money. We
Gray
can go
would-
to the second location.
Gray would probably get in the carriage and ride with everyone. Or ride with the people in the carriage.
I mean, it's a very short journey. There's no point in asking if you want to have a discussion. But of course, the carriage stops right
I
next
would
to Sir
inquire
Drake.
why Sir Drake got a bump on his head. He would just give me that short story.
Wow.
A thing.
Yeah.
Stuff happened.
Yeah, I'll let him know.
Butted head with the locals.
It felt quite liberating, actually. We should do it again. Agreed.
Do we know what to expect in this house? You said we need money.
So nice guy at the bar, talked a lot. Anyways, you pay to get in, and then you pay Father John to wipe away your sins.
Okay, so this is Father John's house. She didn't
I
live
was
at the
also-
church.
I wasn't in this conversation, but I was listening. You pay Father John to wipe away your sins at the church. This is just Father John's house. We don't need money to get in.
Thank you, Thurston.
Goodness.
So far, being friendly has really worked out very well for us. Right? Some of the nicest kindred in London are the first to try this out.
Friendly?
But also, I feel like the niceties probably end here. Is there how houses work? I'm assuming there's multiple entrances to homes back then, even.
Well, the thing with this one is it's terraced. So there's one main front door and probably not a garden at this day and age. That's one of the things that's reserved for the upper classes at this point. but there are windows and such like. I don't mean this is an insult. I just need to clarify. Do you understand what I say when I say it's terraced?
Yes.
Cool.
And I'm insulted.
All right, well, fuck you too, buddy.
Yeah. Like we don't have to worry about him running. Should we just proceed right ahead? So there's another plan?
So if Inspector Gray was in the carriage with me, I would have taken his arm on the way out.
Could always knock and ask if we could have a nice conversation with them.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, actually. Let's do that.
As much of a talker as I am, this might be one that I unfortunately sit out for.
Ooh, good idea. Aldrich, take Thurston and see if he could possibly help heal him.
Yeah, second thought, I like this plan better.
Bad plan at all.
Oh, that is quite genius. Clearly, Thurston needs some very, very expensive prayers.
Let's do this. Let's get Thurston inside, and then who's good at sneaking around and finding Serena once we're inside?
I point to Inspector Gray.
Yes,
no idea what I'm going to do, but
I put Alistair's hand down, and I just go, you need to be less hard on yourself, Alistair. You can do it too.
I mean, 2 people would be great. Some of us will act a bit very distressed that Thurston is in immediate need of help. We'll keep him distracted, while others look around for Serena. And if they can get Serena out while we have him distracted, our job is done. We don't have to actually really have much of a confrontation with the priest. But of course, if it goes wrong, we do what we need to do.
Can you do that thing where you see invisible things while you're invisible?
Yes, I can.
It's helpful. Just remember, I can't see you.
Inspector Gray and Alistair, once we have him distracted, you two will search for Serena and try to get her out of the house quietly to the carriage, if possible. If things seem like you will need all of our help, if the situation is more dangerous, simply come and get us, and then the Hruz will be up and we will deal with the priest as needed. Sound good?
That sounds like a fantastic plan. And Alistair, you can take point. I'll follow you.
He will be invisible, so...
It won't be a problem.
Oh, that's true. Be the perfect duo.
And Alistair, remember what we talked about. Use your words. You're invisible. We can't see you either.
No, but he can.
He can. It's perfect. You found the solution.
Right. Okay, never mind.
I can't see him. Exciting.
Okay. Aldrich will simply walk up then.
Willpower check for me, please.
There it is.
Oh, Lord.
This should be fun.
Yes. Oh, Lord, exactly. Aldrich attempts to go forth up the small steps and approach the front door. Unfortunately, he is unable to find himself planting any more feet upon the steps, repulsed as he is strongly away from the door.
Stumbling back a bit. It is like before. The man of faith repels me.
This,
He's able to do it before me try, and I walk up to the door.
Willpower check for me, please. Eveline attempts to walk up the stairs. Unfortunately, she is unable to even set a single foot upon the stone staircase, repulsed as she is away from the door.
You know, guys, I think I'm starting to not think that our little plan is gonna work, like, at all.
Thurston, you're next. Go.
I don't know. I think maybe I should stay in the carriage.
Push him forward.
Willpower check, Thurston.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go willingly.
Thurston, you are unable to step forward onto the stone staircase, also completely repulsed by an unknown force.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go back to the carriage and
Sir Burton.
guys...
Fine.
Well, step
Willpower
forward.
check for me, please, Sir Drake.
Think I get a +2 to this?
Nope.
Unswayable mind.
Not against true faith.
Okay. Oh, this is not going to go very well.
This and the sun are basically it. Sir Drake attempts to walk up the stone staircase. Unfortunately, he is unable to set even a single foot upon it, repulsed as he is by some unknowable force.
I hate the church.
Spectre, Alistair.
God, I'm loving this.
Just one of us could breach this and deal with the source.
Well, I suppose I may as well try to just see if I can step foot before anything else. Very well.
If not, I do have a backup plan.
The inspector would proceed forward to see if he can cross the threshold.
Power check for me, please, Inspector Gray. And I love the fact that the Ventrue is just basically throwing you at it like a general in World War One. Inspector Gray hesitantly hovers his foot above the stair, plunges it down, and approaches the door successfully.
It's not that bad, everyone.
See, you
Then
don't
deal
need
with
me
it.
after all. Yeah, I'm just gonna go and wait in the carriage. You guys seem to have this covered.
As he starts walking away, I do the whole grab so he can't thing.
Alistair.
Just look at the inspector and oh, good.
Alistair, are you going to try it?
Yeah, I will attempt before I close. 3.
Alistair attempts to put his foot on the step. He doesn't even hesitate and runs straight up the stairs, and then straight back down, and then straight up again. Does a little pirouette, and does not understand why anyone else is unable to join him apart from the inspector.
Go with the inspector. So what's their problem?
Thurston claps at his little performance that he
I
did.
think there's some sort of presence preventing them from getting closer. Something to do with religion or faith or something of the sort.
So what do we do now?
Remove this source.
You want us to kill him?
Or remove Sarina, either one. But yes, if necessary.
Okay, Inspector. I guess I'm going to look by myself. You think you could ask him if he's like, ooh, tell him you're investigating a murder. To make some enough. It happens all the time around here.
Very well. We will go with that plan.
I'll turn and look at everybody. I'll say, stop looking. I'm shy.
I turn away.
I use unseen passage and as everybody stops. And
Rouse
silence
check
of death
for
if
me.
I can.
Yeah, of course you can. Silence of Death is free.
Yep. And before he knocks on the door, I'd be like, "We need to see."
Can I just say
Shit,
I'm
you want me
sorry
to
in
roll to-
advance, Alistair?
No, not at all.
Do you want me to roll to see if I can see Alistair?
No, no, that's fine. That's going to be fine. I'm going to let you have that.
Okay. I'll go
'Cause
up
you're going to get
to
really
the door.
fucked up soon anyway.
Oh, great. I'm gonna walk up to the door and politely knock.
The door is answered by a Catholic priest, dressed in black with a familiar dog collar. Yes?
Good evening, Father. Are you perhaps Father John?
I should hope so. Otherwise someone has stolen my clothes and vestiges.
Oh, that would be quite awful.
What do the two of you want?
Yes, I was, wait, two? It's just me.
No. I can quite plainly see you are two upon my doorstep, rapping at my chamber door.
I would look around panicked. There's another here?
Are you one of the touched in the head? I can quite plainly see there are two of you here.
I undo unseen passage. I say, no, that's me.
Well, yes, I can see.
My apologies. No, I was investigating some murders and missing persons in the area, and have you been to the hospital recently?
Yes, what of it? Do you seek spiritual healing, child?
Well, now that you mention it, it's the woes of the job do weigh heavily. I'm sure you're aware, seeing all the gruesome things that man does from time to time. But the reason I've come was we happened upon a body the other night, and I was wondering if you had seen the individual in the hospital while you were there.
I've seen many bodies in the hospital. That's what a hospital has.
Absolutely. It's curious that a body from the hospital would end up outside of the hospital. Have you noticed anyone taking patients or bodies outside of the hospital, aside from burials?
In a less than wholesome manner, you mean?
Of course.
I have spied no such events. Although I'm sure, of course, that there are many at the hospital that make their money on the side by selling body parts, and indeed bodies, to local universities for study. It's a very prolific pastime.
Yes, yes. I feared you'd say as much. I just was hoping maybe I'd get lucky. But very well. That's mostly what I expected. I had heard that you've gone to the hospital on multiple occasions for your priestly duties, and I was hoping you may have seen something. That's been most helpful. Now you had mentioned about praying or easing my woes.
If it is spiritual healing you seek, child, I can of course provide. Are you a member of the Catholic Church?
I must admit it's been some time since I've been to church.
And when was the last time you confessed your sins?
It's been at least a year, perhaps longer.
Then you must have much that weighs upon your soul.
I fear I do indeed.
Would you wish to confess? I have the time.
May I come in?
Of course, my child. And what of your friend?
I'd look over to Alistair. Would you care to come in?
I'll come. I don't need
Alright.
any spiritual healing. I'm perfect.
Arrogance itself is a sin, my child.
I confess that I'm arrogant.
Then I must, of course, bless you.
Oh. I look back at everybody. I just shrug.
Did the two of you both cast Blush of Life?
Yes.
Yeah, right before we went to the bar earlier.
Okay.
I casted it early on.
Yeah, you did.
If Alistair looks back at the group, Thurston's just sitting there going,
I know.
Please, come in.
Just thought of something.
Oh boy. Inspector Gray would proceed in.
Willpower check for me, please.
Another one? Just to go
Yep.
through the threshold?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah.
but he welcomed them in. Isn't that how
Oh wait,
vampires
yes, I
work?
did pass.
Only with the floor, actually. Inspector Gray, you are unable to enter. Try as hard as you might. You feel an invisible force pushing against you. Alistair has no such reservations and walks in of his own accord. What ails you, my son?
I take a heavy breath. I fear, Father, that much is weighing on my mind tonight. I should stay to my duties, and I'll see if I can make time to come by church for my confessions.
What church? There is no Catholic church that will be able to see you. And if you have such a heavy burden to bear, surely it is best to lighten your load now.
Well, yeah, yes, Father, you are absolutely correct, but I feel I have too much to do tonight.
Shiver, while he's talking to him, can I just peruse, not walk anywhere, but can I just look around to see if there's windows?
Oh yeah, and you don't even have to roll for that. You will find plenty of windows.
Okay, cool. In case I need to get the...
Inspector Gray,
Yeah.
manipulation and subterfuge, please.
Oof.
Yeah, double oof.
Actually, you know what? I think I might surge for this.
See, you've started a trend among the players now, Bully.
I did it with fucking
Once.
Xavier. They just never did it.
I do
like,
it, but I start the game at 4 hunger every game, so
I didn't
I
want to
can't.
throw it around every time. The bully's like, no, surge everything. Well, fuck it.
And that's
Good
like plus
shit,
2, right?
Yep. Oh. Sticking with it, or would you like to reroll?
You know what? I've got 2 successes on hunger die. I'll re-roll those 3 to see if I can just get a success. So I'll re-roll the crit, the 3, and the 5.
It's going to go your way anyways, I think. 2 and 2. Oh, unless you beat.
That's
Okay,
fine.
so
That's
4
wonderful.
successes.
Of course, Inspector, I would not wish to keep you from your duties, but please return here so that you may ease your soul. Accidents happen an awful lot in this city, I would hate for you to be damned simply because of business.
I would nod. Yes, Father. Thank you. Thank you for your concern, and I will make time as soon as I am able.
Go in peace, my son. I shall
Thank you,
attend your friend.
And
Don't go
Inspector
far,
Gray.
wait for me.
Inspector Gray would walk down the stairs.
The door closes shut behind you. The father walks into the front room with Alistair. My child, you seem nervous. Please be at ease. Won't you take a seat?
I look around. Does he have little trinkets around?
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's... Redeeming the reroll for it.
Stack it up. You might need it.
I still have that one from earlier.
Yeah. There you go. You got 2 now.
I sit down. I put my hands between my knees.
You seem ill at ease, child. Please. What is on your mind?
Lots.
Then please proceed. Allow me to cleanse your soul. I feel so fucking ill doing this.
I'm kind of
Just
new
gonna
to
burst
this.
into flames just saying this stuff.
What do I do though? Do I just tell you and that's it?
How long has it been since you last confessed?
What's that?
You tell me all your sins since the last time you confessed. I have no idea why the fuck anyone would do this.
Like all of them though?
Of course. How else can you proceed to heaven if you are burdened by sin?
Oh, well. What if I don't want to go?
Then your spirit will be eternally damned.
I'd already be though.
I'm sure that hell is 1,000 times worse than anything you've already experienced.
I don't know. Have you been to the docks down the west side? That's ooh. There was a dead body there.
Is
Dribbled
this
up.
the first of your confessions? Did you
I
kill
saw
this
a dead
man?
body. No, that was. Everybody knows if you kill a body, you don't just leave it out in the public. See, you got to dress it up, keep it inside, and then run around screaming murder.
How often have you disposed of bodies, my son?
My own? None. Somebody else's? 4 times?
I see, so you are part of the criminal world.
Think of ourselves as criminals. Are we the bad guys?
There is no judgment in the house of God, merely forgiveness, if that is what you seek.
I stole some fruit from my mother when I was a kid.
And I assume that your mother caught you.
No.
I see, this is a most heinous sin, for you are to, at all times, honour thy mother and thy father, and also to not steal. If we are going this far back into your past with your sins, perhaps I should boil the kettle?
I'll say yes. Are we really gonna? Do I have to come up with stuff for the next little bit? Because Alistair probably would just keep talking about random bullshit.
I mean, this
The rest
is
of
me.
us are outside.
Yeah.
Like just standing at the threshold.
Because I
Standing.
would start making stuff up, I think, just because nothing bad's happening and he's talking to me.
Well, this is me giving you an opportunity to be alone in the house while the father fucks off to boil water. Do with it what you will.
I still have Silence of Death active. It's shocking because I made no noise walking in, so yeah. Whatever room we were in, if I could quickly go to another room at the front of the house out of his eyesight and open a window.
Yeah, no problem.
And then just hold my head, go out the window, and I'm like doing this. And I'll. How many rooms are there?
There will be 3 rooms downstairs, a hallway. Upstairs, there will be 2. You are currently in the hallway with the staircase behind you.
No way I can look through all this really quick.
It does take a fair bit of time to boil some water in these days.
Does it? Then yeah, I will look through at least the rooms downstairs where I'm at now.
Okay. You don't need to roll for that. Despite my wanting you to. You will not find anything out of place in a Catholic priest's house. I'm not going there, but we're all thinking it.
Why are all these pictures of small children? What the
Little cherubs everywhere.
And so God loved the children.
Oh, we didn't do our little thing at the beginning of the stream to let everybody know. We push boundaries here.
By the way, we're terrible people.
And Bully's just been along for the ride.
Never met these people.
Bully will be going to real life confession after this stream. Yeah. We're not going into the details of what you find in the Catholic priest's house, but downstairs is clear of your target.
I will make with haste up the stairs and look at the 2 rooms upstairs.
Okay. Do for me wits and stealth. Yeah, wits and stealth.
I'm gonna blood search.
Okay. Do a rouse check for me,
working
please.
For me tonight? I did.
Oh, you did, yeah. So add +2. Oh, that's fine. You search through the rooms quickly and quietly, eventually stumbling into the back bedroom, where you find... Oh, God, I am going to regret saying this. Tied to the bed.
Mm-hmm.
A woman
yes.
in her in her mid-20s, in a state of stupor, seemingly ill, and covered in sores as pieces of flesh are slowly starting to rot.
Does it look like leprosy?
That's pretty much what I was going for. A stage of necrosis, and leprosy necrosis.
Okay. I look around frantically, and then make my way downstairs. I can't carry her myself. I don't want to. Maybe I do. I'll untie her.
Okay. You will start to hear a kettle whistling.
I will leave her and go back downstairs. If I pass by that window, I will, if they're approaching, I'll just do this for upstairs. They may not know what that means, and then I'll go sit down real quick. But if I can't get to the window, I'll just go sit.
No, I think you've got enough time to like pass by the window, flip them off, and then get back in.
Yeah, I would have flipped them up, but yeah.
Yeah. Outside, among the rest of the coterie, what's going on? As you see Alistair walk by and gesture upwards.
You know, he was a good kid, but it was nice knowing him. I think we're not going to get anything else done, so we might as well just leave.
Someone
this point
can slip in. Maybe we can distract him.
seems none of us can get inside though, unless Inspector, you can return.
No, the I guess faith, as you put it, was stronger than I had anticipated. I couldn't get past. I suppose we might be able to try again, but I couldn't do it. I got turned away. But the priest was quite intent on absolving me of my sins, and I believe he's looking to absolve Alistair of his sins. I can't imagine that would be a good thing.
Perhaps we can create a distraction while Alistair finds what we're looking for.
I believe I've got a good idea.
The entire time, Drake's been really anxious, like just the whole thing skeeved him out, not being able to go in, and he's just been like unchambering and chambering the rounds from his revolver. Like,
if he doesn't come out in 10 minutes, we set the house on fire and just grab whoever comes out.
That would not be good for our target. I have a solution that's not ideal, but it seems we have run out of choices. How far away was the pub? The pub's like a quick walk from here, right?
Oh, yeah, like 3-4 minute walk. He's Catholic priest. You're damn right that pub's close by.
Okay, yeah, I'm... stay here, make sure nothing happens to Alistair, whatnot. I'll be back in just a moment.
I have an out-of-character question for you. Will you remember this plan in about a week?
Oh, yeah.
Then shall we call it here for now? Before we go too far.
I had one other idea.
Oh, okay.
While he's walking away, I start singing Christmas carols and try to get everyone else to join in with.
You can sing those carols. Covered by copyright. That's fine. Please.
Actually singing. In fact, I don't know what Christmas carols were around in Victorian times.
Silent Night.
Christmas caroling started in Victorian times, so it's definitely a thing.
Is it Christmas time?
Silent night.
It's not, but it doesn't matter.
Holy night.
and there's a gesture to the rest of you.
And if you're interested, you too can buy Batman's Christmas hymn album.
Silent night. Holy
Zero,
night.
Evelyn's the only one in tune.
Yeah, definitely.
I need a fucking drink. Where's that pub?
About
Let's
5
call it
minutes
here
out.
before I lose even more will to live.
Okay.
And we'll see whose idea works best after a week.
Oh, my idea will work.
If you can roll for mine, I get bonuses.
It'll be very quick.
Sweet.
So we'll leave it here with a week-long singing of Christmas hymns outside Father John's house. Nitro, who are you? Where can we find you?
I'm here for GTM, London by Gaslight, and then I'll let him kind of plug it more, but I'm also on Bullet Club on Fridays, so.
Talking of him, Sir Drake, Mark from Bullet Club. Where can we find you at Bullet Club? And what do you do at Bullet Club?
Here every Wednesday. What do we do? Well, we don't talk about it. It's the second rule. No, but so here every Wednesday, and then Friday 10:30 UTC, Nitro's guesting for the foreseeable. And we're probably going to be doing a thing every Sunday now where we do a watch along of like a wrestling pay-per-view. And we might pick like a random one, and then on the weeks where there's actually a live one, like a new one, we'll do the live new one. Because we all had fun doing it last Sunday and it proved quite popular. So nice meshing of goals there. But yeah, those, and within the next few weeks should be doing the second part of our Cyberpunk Red, what was supposed to be a one shot and has ended up having to be 2 sessions long. So we'll be doing that as well. Yeah.
Moscavian, who are you? Where can we find you?
I am Noscavian. You can find me on Table of Horrors, playing every Wednesday. Here we are.
Okay, that was
and
nice
also
and
on
easy.
Discord.
Miss Harts, who are you? Where can we find you?
Round young virgin birth. I've got that sense in my head now. Miss Hearts, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, everything else, MZHARTZ. Also on Tuesday nights, I Want My 80s show on the Base Radio. And of course here on Table of Horrors.
Tina, who are you? Where can we find you when you're not trying to kill small children?
I'm not killing, I'm bonding. Here. And I'm going to try to stream Bloodlines this Friday. I don't think I have anything going on. But you say hi to everybody?
Hi, buddy.
That's adorable.
She's playing with the Barbie plane, sorry.
Bully, where can we find you and what do you do?
I am the storyteller at a channel called Table Goth. Check out our YouTube for vampire stuff, other gaming stuff, and if you want to learn how to play this game, we cover that. I'm doing a charity stream next Monday on our Twitch channel with a bunch of people. You should check that out. It'll be Sabbat stuff. Always.
Excellent.
Otherwise, I'm here.
Oh, I promised to do housekeeping in Yorkshire accent for PPR, and I nearly forgot about that. So here is my Captain Picard Yorkshire accent for you, because I can do this so bloody well. There was one time I had black pudding that was so black, even white bits were black. Ecky thump. We'll go a raiding on Vancouver by night. I don't know what accent this is now. Went into several different regions there. Who are playing Dungeons and Dragons. Of course.
Have a good night.
Good night. Have a nice night. Good night.
Can't beat that.
I was